A quick bit of politics, but there is a tech tie-in. Sort of. How should we pay for infrastructure? In California, we face some serious challenges in repairing roads, and most attempts at expansion are maxed out before extra lanes on a highway can be completed. We still need to fund infrastructure, but we also need to start changing behavior. Most attempts at that kind of adjustment are usually dumped right on the backs of citizens. Gas taxes or proposed mileage taxes. Here in California, the average commute is about an hour round trip, but it's really easy to find people in Los Angeles driving double or triple that every day. My wife had a 2-hour round trip last year before her company switched offices. Considering housing costs and urban sprawl, increasing taxes on commuters is really unpopular because it most penalizes those who already can't afford to live closer to their job. The recent riots in France, for example, were in part started over another hike in diesel taxes. And a lot of us are still hoping to see more hypermileage and electric vehicles on the road. So the effectiveness of gas taxes will likely wane regardless. EVs still contribute to road wear and tear, but they don't use oil or gas, so they're not paying into the same funds that are used to repair those roads. My proposal in the near term for California: let's tax businesses for the commutes of their employees. We'll call it the SomeGadgetGuy Corporate Employee Commute Tax. Got a nice ring to it. If you've ever had to sit through a rush hour commute in Los Angeles, it's pretty terrible. Major throughways are clogged, people trying to tear through residential streets thanks to advanced navigation apps. It's getting pretty ugly. And why? There's a significant portion of the workforce on the road which doesn't need to be. Employers are holding to a 9-to-5 workday, 5-day work week, and demanding employees come to a specific building to do what? To sit in front of a computer and use a phone? Jobs that could literally be performed anywhere in the world with a stable internet connection. The corporate vanity of having nice office space is in part subsidized by longer employee commute times, which correlates with some disturbing health impacts. Also, more cars on the road for longer periods of time increases wear and tear on roadways, which then we need to figure out how to pay for repairs and expansion. As soon as roads are expanded, drivers fill that expansion, and it adds to the commercial value of office districts, making surrounding housing even less affordable, and the problem continues to spiral, forcing employees to seek out affordable housing even farther from their job. Rinse, repeat. California and other states in similar situations have long offered tax benefits to companies that provide some kind of employee commuting assistance. But these efforts have been half-hearted at best, and the data over the last 10 years or so would indicate that commuting times in many areas are getting worse, not better. We've been giving corporations the carrot, maybe it's time to try the stick. Make them pay a rate for every mile an employee needs to drive round trip. When we recently tried to pass a tax on California drivers in 2017, the rate proposed was 5 cents per mile. That sounds about right to me for companies. Maybe bump it up a penny or two for inflation. My wife's old commute, for example, would have cost her company $11 a week. That's not too bad, right? But someone smarter than me should run the numbers on how large a company should be when those taxes kick into place. Should they start at 100 employees, 1,000? I can't really do that math. Now, I can already feel the more conservative folks watching this starting to bristle. No, like literally, you guys are getting spiky. I get it. Taxes, businesses, bear with me here. We have two problems: how to pay for infrastructure and how to change behavior. So while I think we should lay a punitive tax on the companies that most contribute to the problem, I think we should also make it ridiculously easy for those companies to avoid paying those penalties in the form of employee perks, more flexible work days and work weeks, or just straight up telecommuting. Maybe an employee only needs to be in the office 3 days a week, or maybe they only need to check in weekly for staff meetings. Forcing someone into a cubicle Monday through Friday does not make them any more productive. Employee pay should be based on performance and productivity. Perfect attendance is stupid. Now, for companies that can't migrate a workforce to telecommuting or flexible work weeks, employers should improve ride-sharing perks. It's clearly not enough to just offer up a bus pass for a tax break. Maybe company shuttles and better ride-sharing programs could help the situation. It would reduce stress on employees and still take more cars off the road. And lastly, a two birds with one stone option at the high end of the market: More companies should be looking at housing assistance as a perk of employment. Larger corporations could negotiate better loan rates, partially subsidize some of the costs, or, like Google, just start building more houses directly. This could have huge positive ripples for numerous areas of our economy, and those corporations that participate would be investing in their talent, likely keeping top-performing employees longer. And no company should be compelled to engage in any of these benefits programs. If they'd rather just pay a tax, they should just be allowed to pay the commute tax. Obviously, there are huge legal implications for such a plan. Politically, at least half the country would be against it just for calling it a tax. It would face significant lobbying. If any form of this were to pass, it would probably be challenged in court before the governor's ink was dry. We'd also likely see many companies factor employee location into their hiring practices, though they wouldn't need to if they just offered telecommuting as a perk. But something has to change. This current work commute housing model is unsustainable, and corporations will have no incentive to change their behavior until they're given a reason to change. An employee commute tax on businesses might be just the catalyst we need. And this is a problem that certainly extends beyond California. What are some other strategies worth examining? What's been working in your neck of the woods? Drop me a comment down below. These are the kind of conversations I love getting into. As always, thanks so much for watching, sharing, and subscribing. You know where you can find me around the rest of the internet, at SomeGadgetGuy on the Twitters, the Facebooks, and the Instagrams. And I will catch you all on the next video.